Hey, pig. Hey, pig. Hey, pig. Hey, pig. It's cruel, I know. Well, it's fall and the acorns and hickories are falling. The pigs are hanging out in the woods a lot. I thought I'd just call them over and check them out. I'm working over here on the other side of the fence here. That one's down a little bit. Something must have fell on it. There we go. That's better. Hey, pig! I was kind of hoping that the babies would come over here. They're way up over there. I don't know if you can see them moving. They're not responding to calling just yet. There's a couple babies over here with one of the mamas hanging out in the woods, learning how to be a pig. You finding good stuff? Again, this is one of the sections of woods that I had thinned last year, so there's an awful lot of smaller stuff on the ground, and you kind of see the older rotten stumps. They're actually ripping them out of the ground, which is kind of cool. They do a lot of disturbance, but you can still see there's an awful lot of underbrush here. You know, new saplings coming up and stuff that ends up germinating, and I'm thinking over time it'll be for the benefit of this forest. I kept an awful lot of the nut-bearing trees. What we have here naturally is red and white oak, pignut hickory mostly. There's some shagbark also. I don't know if you can see there's a nice tall persimmon over there that has some pretty good fruit on it. I kept all the well, a lot of the beech. I didn't keep it all because it does put up quite a bit of shade and blocks out the sun, and I also would like to get some grass growing down in here eventually, because I do have more grazing animals. Like I do have some Dexter cattle that would be nice to kind of expand and extend their grazing, and there is some grass coming up here. This was the first summer that this has been this open, so I don't expect an immediate transformation. So yeah, and then I left a lot of poplar. There's quite a few nice big poplars in there, and I heard that those are really pretty good for honeybees. They make propolis out of it, so I kind of like to favor the honeybees around here as much as I can. Yeah, so this is kind of what the woods looks like before I thinned it. You know, behind here. This is untouched basically. You can see it's very dense and thick. I would like to, I'm building a house right there. So eventually what I'd like to do is expand this entire system going that way. And then kind of right over this ridge here and down, there's a big pond. So I can have a nice water source over there. And then just kind of wrap it all the way around my house. And then I'll end up with something, you know, where I live, kind of right in the middle of my system, which makes an awful lot of less walking and work, and I can keep a closer eye on it. Plus it gives me a nice fenced-in yard for the abundance of dogs I seem to end up with here. So yeah, all of them kind of came over here. That's cool. So I got a good mix here. There's there's some mulefoot crossed with Duroc in here and their offspring, which are now much more Mulefoot than Duroc. These babies, they all came out black. There wasn't any colored ones. And I actually have the two colored mamas, this red one and the brown one there. And that's actually my Mulefoot boar. He's one of the younger adults, so he's a little bit smaller than he'll be, you know, when he's fully grown. And the jury's out whether I'll be keeping him or not. We'll see how I got 5 pure Mulefoot babies, and I want to see how they grow out before I decide how and if I'm going to alter them or what genetics I'd like to bring in. And then I have a nice Mulefoot Duroc mixed sow over there, and she's all black except for her nose is pink. And she's a great pig. She's the biggest one. Grew the biggest out of all of them so far on pasture and forage, and I'm trying to feed minimal grain. They do grow a little bit slower than probably if I would give them the recommended amount of grain, but I'd like the meat to be made more out of the forage rather than the bought grain. I think it'll end up with a superior product, better for the animals and better for the farm in general, and not quite so expensive to keep. So they really do a good job working. I think I got a good amount here. Kind of all these medium-sized ones are about to be done, whether they're big enough or not. I really don't want to carry this much through the winter, and I want to start getting into the farmer's market, so I'm kind of letting them go for a little bit longer because they are really doing well on this nut drop. So we'll give them a little bit more time, and they're off to the processor. And these babies, there was 2 litters of, a litter of 10, a litter of 9, and 2 litters of 5. So there's 29 babies scattered all over the place here. They seem to be doing pretty well. So, you know, and getting rid of some of these medium-sized ones will mean, you know, we'll be right on time for these guys to really start getting into the solid food. So that'll be good. They won't have so much competition. I do have dog back in here. She's eating sticks right now. She's learning. She's doing pretty good. Pigs really don't need much in the way of protection here. I do have a pretty good fencing system which keeps them in and keeps the predators mostly out. So and the piglets are pretty dang tough. I mean, well, the pigs in general are pretty dang tough, so you're not going to really hurt them very easily. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at in the evolution of my my pig program here. You know, just working on genetics and trying out different things, and I really like how the rotational grazing stuff is working with them. I mean, they get pasture and forage, kind of new stuff every day. The woods is kind of a bigger area, so this one paddock is probably 2 acres, and I got 4 of them. Quiet. Hey, no. It's my dad's dog. She's not going to listen to me too much. So they have access to a new one. Get out! No, get out of here! No. Goofy girl. So they get to come in here once every 3 weeks or so. So it gets a good bit of rest. I move them. I give them a new paddock every Saturday. But this is something that I would like to expand. I mean, wood, you know, pun intended. I have a lot of it. You know, I have a lot of woods, so I want to make use of it the best way I can. And I will be, while I am trying to thin this a bit, I am going to be introducing more tree species that kind of produce all year long. You know, like some mayhaws and some fruit trees and some honey locust and some other trees that kind of, so I can extend the time of year where there's something in here where they can eat. I mean, the browse is nice, and they do go ahead and eat new leaves and shoots, and that's great. But you know, and roots. And it would be nice to have a little more tree crop in here. So that's kind of where I want to start expanding. You know, as I can see, we're starting to get a bit of open sky in here, which is nice. So I can start adding some different species in here and nudging it a little bit more towards to being a little bit more productive year-round, rather than just right now. It's mostly just in the fall where we get the nut drop, the major nut drop, and that goes for a little while and then it's done. So yeah, so anyway, here's the pig system as it stands today. Enjoy.